Have you ever seen a woman smiling to herself, lost in thought, and you wonder, who's she thinking about? It's not always the guy texting her 100 times a day. It's not the man giving her flowers every weekend. It's not the one begging for her time or chasing her like a lost puppy. No, it's the man who's there, but not too there. The one who's warm, but still mysterious. The one who's close, but not clinging. That man, he lives in her mind, rent-free, day and night, hour after hour. She imagines conversations with him, what he's doing, who he's with. And guess what? He hasn't even said much. You see, there's something strange, almost magic, about a man who knows how to be still, quiet, detached. He's not cold. He's not mean. He's just focused on his mission, his work, his life. And somehow, that makes her want him even more? Crazy, right? But here's the truth. The world teaches men to chase, prove, give more, be nice, and show you care, again and again and again. And sure, being kind is great. Being thoughtful is awesome. But when you give too much, too fast, she stops wondering about you. She stops dreaming about you. She stops imagining you as the one. Why? Because there's no mystery, no challenge, no depth. When a man is always around, always texting, always available, he becomes easy to figure out. He becomes like a book she already finished reading. And once the story feels done, she closes the book. But the man who steps back, who focuses on his own life, who lets her wonder what's on his mind, he becomes the story she replays every night. He becomes the man she creates little scenarios about in her head. While she lays awake thinking, does he miss me? Is he seeing someone else? What if I lost him? That is the invisible power of detachment. That is the magic of not being too close. You don't need to play games. You don't need to fake anything. You just need to return home to your own path, your own goals, your own peace. Because when a woman feels like she can't fully have you, that's when she starts to want you more. Wild, huh? So the next time you feel like proving something to her, stop, take a deep breath, and remember, the man she dreams about at night is the one who feels just a little out of reach. And he doesn't chase, he attracts. What if the very thing you've been taught to do is why she's pulling away? Wait, what if everything you were told about getting the girl is backwards? What if chasing her, texting her every day, checking in all the time, is the reason she's losing interest? Feels kind of crazy, right? But stay with me. From the time you were young, the world shouted, "Show her you care. Tell her how much you like her. Never let her wonder where she stands. Prove you're a good guy." And you listened. You followed the script. You gave her attention. You stayed close. You made time. You opened your heart. But then, she got bored. She got distant. She said, "You're too nice," or "I just don't feel the same anymore." And you were left thinking, what the heck did I do wrong? Here's the real answer. You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know the hidden rule that no one teaches men. See, women don't want to be the center of a man's life. They want to be part of a man's life that already has meaning. And if you make her your everything, if you orbit around her, If your life stops every time she calls or texts, she starts to feel something she doesn't want to feel. She feels too needed. She feels too in control. She feels like the leader, not the prize. And guess what? Women don't chase men they control. They chase men they admire. They chase men who feel grounded, solid, stable. Men who stay true to their path, even when they're falling for someone. Men who are kind but not needy. Available, but not always there. It's not about pretending. It's not about acting cold. It's about becoming a man who respects his own time, his own mission, his own worth. Because when you're emotionally centered, not always reacting to her, that's when she starts feeling the pull, the mystery, the curiosity, the chase. She begins to ask, why isn't he always texting me? Why do I miss him so much? What's he doing when he's not with me? That feeling, that's attraction being built. That's the spark you can't fake. So listen close. If you've ever asked, why do the guys who don't try as hard seem to win? It's because they never left their center. They stayed grounded. They stayed in control of their emotions. They didn't give everything up for love. They kept loving their life first. And that is exactly what makes her want to be part of it. Not because you chased, but because you stopped chasing. She can't stop thinking about you when you say less. Let me ask you something wild. Have you ever noticed how quiet people, like the ones who barely say a word, can sometimes feel crazy powerful, like everyone listens when they talk? People lean in. They wonder, what's on his mind? Now here's the secret you were never told. Emotionally unavailable men aren't always loud or flashy. They're calm, quiet, still. And women can't stop thinking about them. Why? Why do women attach so deeply to a man who barely says much? Because silence, when it comes from confidence, feels mysterious. And mystery is magnetic. See, most guys try to connect by oversharing. They tell her everything. They explain how they feel. They talk and talk, hoping to be understood. But here's the twist. The more you explain, the less powerful you feel. Because when you overshare, there's nothing left for her to imagine. And the female brain craves imagination. It loves puzzles, questions, unknowns. A man who doesn't rush to speak, who doesn't spill every thought, who doesn't need to be understood all the time. He becomes a question in her mind she can't answer. And the moment she can't figure you out, she thinks about you more. She plays little scenes in her head. She rewatches old conversations. She imagines what you meant when you went quiet for a few days. Was he busy? Was he thinking of me? Was he seeing someone else? Boom. That's when it starts. The emotional attachment grows, not because you gave her more, but because you gave her less. Not less respect, not less kindness, but less of your thoughts, less of your emotional need, less of your constant attention. You were calm. You were in your own space. And that silence, that stillness, it whispered. This man is not desperate. He's not chasing. He's centered. And that is what women attach to. Not the man who talks nonstop about his love. Not the one who tries to prove how much he cares. But the one who holds peace inside himself and doesn't give it away too fast. That man, he becomes unforgettable. If you're always there, you become invisible. And here's something strange. The more available you are to her, the less she feels you. Crazy, right? You'd think being around all the time would make her like you more. You'd think texting every morning, replying fast, always showing up, would prove how much you care. But guess what happens instead? She gets used to you. She stops feeling the spark. She stops wondering about you. She stops missing you because you're always right there. Now, this isn't about being rude or disappearing or ignoring her. It's about one powerful truth. When something is always easy to reach, it loses value in the mind. Let me paint a picture. Imagine you had your favorite dessert sitting in your fridge 24/7. Every day, every hour, always there. How long would it stay special? Not long. Now imagine that same dessert only shows up once a week or once a month. Just a small piece, just for a moment. What happens? You crave it. You think about it. You wait for it. You value it so much more. That's how it works with you too. When your time, energy, and emotions are too easy to get, they feel less important. But when your presence is rare, it becomes precious. Women feel that deeply. They don't want to chase a man who gives himself away like a free sample. They want to feel like they've earned a moment of your attention, like your time is gold, like you have a life so full that when you give her a slice of it, she cherishes it. So here's the key. Be less available, because your life is already full. Not because you're playing games, not because you want to punish her, but because your world is already rich with purpose, with goals, with meaning. You're not disappearing, you're living. And in doing so, you become scarce. You become rare, and rare things, they create obsession. So next time you think, should I send that extra message? Ask yourself instead, is this something a man of value would do, or a man afraid to be forgotten? Because trust me, the man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't overstay, he's the one she can't get out of her mind. She doesn't want to be your whole world. She wants to orbit around it. Here's the biggest lie most men hear growing up. Find a girl. Love her with everything. Make her your whole world. Sounds sweet, right? But it's actually the fastest way to lose her. Why? Because no woman wants to be the center of your world. She wants to feel like she's joining something already amazing. Not the reason you wake up in the morning. Not your everything. Not your only focus, your only joy, your only drive. That's pressure. That's heavy. That's suffocating. She doesn't want to carry your whole happiness on her back. No one does. Think about it like this. You're a planet. You have your own gravity. You spin, you shine, you move through life with purpose. And she wants to be the beautiful moon orbiting around you, not the thing holding you up. When you don't have your own path, your own mission, your own energy, you lean too hard on her. And when that happens, she starts to feel trapped. She starts to pull away. She starts to wonder, why doesn't he have anything else going on? Now flip it. Let's say you've got goals, a mission, something that lights you up. You're building, growing, focused. Your attention isn't always on her because you've got work to do. Guess what that does? It makes her curious. It makes her want to understand you. It makes her think, What's going on in his mind? That mystery pulls her in. It's not about ignoring her or being cold. It's about standing strong in your purpose. And when you do, she doesn't run away. She leans in. Because now she wants to be part of the world you've built. Not because you need her, but because she wants to belong to something powerful. So remember, never make her your whole world. Make your life so full, so magnetic, so meaningful, that she begs to be part of it. That's not cold. That's irresistible. If you stay calm when she's spinning, you become the anchor she never knew she needed. Let's be real for a second. Sometimes she'll cry. Sometimes she'll yell. Sometimes she won't even know why she's upset. And you'll feel confused, frustrated, maybe even angry. But here's the twist. The man who can stay calm while she's in chaos, he becomes the safe place she never wants to leave. Most guys get it all wrong. They react, they explode. Or they panic and try to fix everything right away. But here's the truth. She's not always asking you to fix it. Sometimes she just wants to feel it all. She wants to express it. And deep down, she's watching to see how you respond. Now listen closely. If you get pulled into her storm, if you start shouting or breaking down with her, you become just another man who lost control. Another man she can't lean on. But if you stay cool, centered, grounded, if you listen with strength and speak with peace, you become something rare. You become solid. You become different. You become the rock she can hold onto when the waves crash. Women are emotional creatures. That's not a weakness. That's part of their beauty. But what they crave, deep down, is a man who can hold the storm without becoming the storm. That's emotional mastery. It's not about shoving your feelings down. It's about leading yourself, even when it's hard. Because if you can't lead yourself, how can she trust you to lead with her? And once she sees you stay calm in chaos, once she sees you breathe instead of break, she'll start to believe, maybe this man is different. She'll attach, not because you chased, but because you showed her a kind of strength she doesn't see every day. And that kind of peace, that kind of calm, it's not boring. It's magnetic. The man who doesn't need attention gets the most of it. Let me ask you something weird. Have you ever seen a guy try too hard to be liked? He's always texting first. He's always giving compliments. He's always saying, "Do you like me? Are we okay?" Now, how does that feel to watch? It's like something feels off, right? That's because neediness pushes people away. But what if you flip the whole script? What if instead of needing attention, you became the kind of man who didn't chase it? What if you were so focused on your life, your purpose, your goals, that you didn't even think about getting someone's approval? Here's the crazy part. That man, the one who isn't trying to be noticed, he becomes the one everyone notices. Why? Because humans feel energy. They can sense desperation, but they also sense self-worth. And when a woman sees a man who doesn't beg for her time, who doesn't fish for compliments, who doesn't sit around waiting for her to text back, she starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing me like the others? Her mind starts spinning. Her curiosity grows. Her attachment begins. Here's a secret no one tells you. The less you need attention, the more people want to give it to you. Because now your time feels valuable. Your presence feels earned. You become a mystery, a challenge, a man with depth. You're not cold. You're not rude. You're just unbothered. You've got a world of your own. And if she wants to be a part of it, she's gonna have to earn it too. That's not arrogance, that's standards. And women respect it. They attach to it. Because finally, they've met a man who isn't addicted to their approval. And that kind of man, that's the one she starts dreaming about at night, because she doesn't know how to get him off her mind. Now, stop making her your mission and watch her chase to join yours. Listen close, because this might hurt a little. Too many men make this mistake. They meet a woman, and suddenly she becomes the mission. Every thought is about her. Every move is made to impress her. Every goal gets pushed aside just to be near her. They stop hitting the gym. They stop chasing their dreams. They stop living like kings, just to be available for a girl who hasn't even earned it. Sounds familiar? But here's what happens next, and it's brutal. The moment she feels like she's become your everything, she starts to pull away. Why? Because no woman wants to be a man's whole purpose. She wants to feel like she's joining something bigger, a life that's already moving fast, a world that's already full of energy, a mission that already has direction. Not a man sitting still, waiting for her to complete him. So here's the truth you've been needing. You don't attract a woman by making her your focus. You attract her by building a life so rich, so full of purpose, that she wants to be invited in. She watches you grind. She sees your discipline. She feels your focus, and she starts to respect it. Now she's thinking, wow, he's not like the others. He's not sitting around hoping I'll choose him. He's choosing himself. And maybe, just maybe, I want to be chosen by him. That's the shift. That's how you stop chasing women and start attracting their curiosity, their emotion, and their attachment. You're not distant. You're just devoted to your path. And when a woman senses that, she can't help but wonder what it feels like to walk beside you, not in front, not above, beside. Your calm is her storm, and that's why she craves you. Here's something you won't hear from most guys. It's not your looks. It's not your money. It's not even your words that hook her heart. It's your calm, your ability to stay solid when the world around you goes crazy. Imagine this. She throws a little drama your way. A test, a mood, a moment of silence. And instead of freaking out, instead of begging, explaining, or chasing, you breathe. You pause. You stay still. Not because you don't care, but because you've mastered yourself. That calm presence, that still strength, it drives her wild inside. Why? Because most men react. They lose control the second a woman changes her tone. They get emotional, needy, or defensive. But you become the eye of the storm. And the eye of the storm always pulls everything into it. That's real attraction. That's real power. Because your calm shows her one thing she can't resist. Safety. Not the soft kind. Not the I'll do anything for you kind. But the deep, powerful, unshakable kind. The kind that says, I feel everything, but nothing owns me. This is Stoic power. You're not a robot. You have emotions, you feel them fully, but you choose your response. Always. That's rare. That's masculine. And that is what makes her attach deeply to you, sometimes without even knowing why. Because women don't chase loud men. They chase the ones they can't shake. The secret weapon. Confidence that comes from inside you, not from outside. This is it. The big secret. You think confidence is about having fancy cars, or cool clothes, or bragging about your job. Nope. That's just smoke and mirrors. Fake confidence. The real magic? It's in how you feel about yourself inside, when no one is watching. Imagine waking up every day knowing, I'm enough. I don't need to prove it to anyone. That's a whole new kind of power. When you build confidence from inside, through your skills, your actions, your calm mind, it shows, it shines, it's magnetic. She doesn't just see a man who talks big. She feels a man who walks tall quietly, without noise. This is what makes women think about you when they're alone. This is what makes her heart race, even if you're miles away. Why? Because genuine confidence is like a secret code that unlocks something deep in her mind. It whispers, this man is rare, this man is steady, this man is a force. And that, my friend, is how you become the man she creates stories about at night. So forget chasing, forget proving. Focus on yourself. Build your world. Live with purpose. Be the man who stands strong, feels calm, and moves through life with unstoppable confidence. When you do that, the rest happens naturally. She will chase you, not because you made her, but because you made yourself.